How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, shapes, and forms? Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another random Friday video. This time, I don't remember the last time we've done a spoiler cast. I think it might have been pre-season 2, like 3 years ago. But we are yet again doing another spoiler cast, this time for the hotness that came out last Friday. That is Voltron Season 4. As always, I am Greg, and I'm joined by May. Say hello.
Hello.
Also joined here by Mira. Say hello. So Voltron Season 4. Oh boy, do we got a lot to unpack. It was a 6-episode season. They literally split 3 and 4 in half because Season 2 was 13 episodes. They said they were splitting the new season in half to be 2 smaller seasons, and they literally did.
Apparently, I found out why.
Oh, you finally found out why? What's up?
Yeah, someone asked Josh Keaton. He said they recorded it all in one go, like the whole season, but it was the network's decision to split it up.
So basically, Season 3 was supposed to be these 2 combined.
Yep, but network was like, "Hey, can you split it up?" Okay, thanks.
Huh.
Was it DreamWorks decision or Netflix decision?
I don't know. He didn't say. He just said he said the network, and I was like, okay.
It could be either or. But regardless, we finally have the closure to that, at least. I mean, there's a massive cliffhanger we'll get to. But welcome to our spoiler cast for Voltron Season 4. If you can't tell by the words on the title of this video, if you can't tell from what we're saying already, this is chock full of spoilers. Plenty of spoilers. A shitload. A plethora. A quiz-knackingly amount of spoilers in this fucking video. So if you don't want any spoilers, this is your final warning. Fucking leave if you don't want spoilers for Voltron Season 4 or any of the prior seasons. And now that you've been warned, let's get started. We'll start off with Mira. You watched it first. May and I watched it at the time of recording this yesterday, but by the time this is released, we watched this on Sunday. Mira, you binge watched first. What were your thoughts on Season 4?
The cliffhanger made me scream.
Jesus Christ.
I was already screaming anyway because I was almost done with episode 5 and Netflix decided to choke and just refuse to load for a while, and I was like, oh no, everyone's getting on right now.
Oh no.
So I was literally a minute away from being done with episode 5 and it did that. And I was just like, I can't do this.
May.
Greg.
Your thoughts on Voltron Season 4. Don't sass me.
Thoughts on Season 4?
Yeah.
What's the word? It really hooked me in on Season 3 sorta did, but because I hadn't seen Seasons 1 and 2, and I wasn't really super into Voltron, Season 3 didn't really hook me that much, but I saw the other 3 seasons, and then I was really hooked in this season. It was really, really interesting.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's perfectly. It's just really interesting, and it kept me hooked.
So, Season 3, I would argue, for me personally, Season 3 was my least favorite season. Because I had some, and we've never been able to talk about Voltron in full spoiler form, but I had some issues with the pacing of Season 3. The fact that the last episode, the cliffhanger, so Season 1's cliffhanger, and I'll talk about this with Mira. Season 1's cliffhanger is Zarkon's reveal that he was the original paladin of the Black Lion, and all of the paladins being separated. That was the cliffhanger for Season 1. Season 2's cliffhanger is Shiro is missing and bring in Prince Lotor. That was fucking massive. Season 3's spoiler is, hey, everything kind of seems okay, and have some backstory about how Zarkon and Hagar were actually married. Not to say that information wasn't important, and actually I would argue that, and I'm kind of glad we did get that, because a lot of the motivation in Season 4 really kind of shows. Knowing that
and not only that, but that we learned that Hagar is Altair.
Altair, yeah. Which plays into the final episode of Season 4.
Season 4, Lotar pretty much confirms that that Minerva's his mom, or Minerva's his mom, so Haggard's his mom. I know some people were trying to figure out who was his mom, but
yeah, those are his parents.
He drops in the series. He's like, yeah, Minerva's his mom, and blah blah blah.
Yeah. But I was kind of like, okay, so my big complaint about season 3 was we had all this crazy shit of like, you know, Shiro like being a prisoner and escaping, and a lot of the speculation about like, is that the real Shiro and stuff like that, and that leading into episode 6. But then episode 7 is this whole backstory episode, and I kind of really felt that really halted a lot of the momentum in season 3, in my opinion. It was like, I mean, season 3 was good, but I was like, oh man, I hope that there's payoff for this. But I feel like for season 4, there was a lot of fucking payoff for that.
It makes sense now knowing that was all supposed to be one season, though.
Yeah, it really does. That was supposed to be like episodes 1 through 6 are like the first half. I could see 7 being, here's the intermission halfway through point, and then what was 1 through 6 of season 4 being episodes 8 through 13. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll get started kind of going through some of the things. So the first big reveal, Keith leaves Voltron. Let's start with May, because I was with you when this happened. So episode 1 was an emotional roller coaster for Keith fans. How did you feel throughout episode 1 and then leading to the end of episode 1?
I was sad. I was actually really sad because, I mean, I was like, okay, he's not gonna be part of the team anymore. He's not gonna get that much screen time, like, you know, he did in other seasons.
Right. Mira. Really sorry. Yeah. As soon as I saw that was happening, I'm like, oh no, poor May. So we have another fan of Keith, Mira. What did you think at the end of episode 1 when Keith saw, well, I'm just gonna leave to the Blade of Mamora?
Here's the thing. I'm conflicted because I'm kind of proud of Keith because he's actually wanting to do the training and kind of embrace that side of him. But at the same time, can we just talk about the fact that everyone hugged him before he left?
Yeah, they did.
Like, first it was just Shiro giving him a hug, and then everyone hugged him, and I was just like, my heart is broken now.
He gave him the broest of bro hugs. It was so beautiful. I was like...
I saw that hug and my depression was cured, my acne was cleared, my crops flourished, but then I cried because everyone else was like, group hug.
My crops flourished. That is incredible. Well, May, I'm going to tell you something that is good about... I'm going to say a serious thing, and I'll go to the dumb thing. I really think... Because at first I was like, oh, they're really going to sideline Keith. But I really think, especially with how it pans out in the last couple episodes, Keith, was it me, or does Keith just seems more at home with the Blade of Marmora?
Yeah,
he really does.
He really, like, it's the move he knew he needed to do because he knew he was going to be happy with himself. And I'm like, yeah, like, that kind of makes sense. Like, I'm not even going to lie, like, I haven't been the biggest fan of Keith, but I've never hated Keith. I mean, Keith's been kind of like, oh yeah, he's the brooding emo kid that we gotta, like, respect his space. He's like a cat, you know? He wants attention, but he also doesn't want attention. But yeah, like, seeing him, like, try with the Blade of Marmora, I'm like, he needs to be happy here. And I'm thinking they're gonna give the cop out of, like, oh yeah, like, but I gotta stay with Voltron. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was thinking they might sideline Shiro in this season, but Shiro is able to activate the Black Lion again, and Keith is kind of like, oh, it was kind of my thing to see if he would bond with the Black Lion again. But I'm going to be with the Blade of Marmora. And May also lucked out because she's like, oh, Keith's hair got longer and he looks hot in that hoodie, and oh, damn.
Now we just need to set up Blade of Marmora Keith cosplays.
Like, May was already trying to look up references in order to do Blade of Marmora Keith.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Or WonderCon next year, because my friend Kitty is gonna do Matt.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Matt in just a moment.
I really want to be Blade of Marmora Keith, and she's like, yes, please do it.
I say we'll get to Matt. We'll get to Matt in just a moment. I mean, this is spoiler ridden, so everybody knows at this point who's watched this and watched the season. So all right, so I gotta ask one of the big questions. So after Shiro rebonding with the Red Lion, do people the black lion? I said blue, black lion, like rebonding with the Black Lion. We'll start with Mira on this one. Do you still, I mean, not saying that we ever personally thought it to begin with, do you still think Shiro is a clone?
I honestly don't know. I mean, there hasn't really been too much information either way. Just because of the way season 3 went, it was kind of just too ambiguous to really draw a conclusion.
Right.
Because usually when you watch something and you're in doubt, there are little hints that are dropped, but now, like, with all the stuff that's going on with, like, Keith and Lotor and the Blade of Marmora and Hagar and everything, I'm just like, I don't really know what's a hint and what's just for the story.
Right.
So at this point, I'm just kind of waiting.
May, do you think Shiro is a clone or not?
You know, even when I watched season 3, I don't know. I really don't know if he is or not. Because, you know, I've read a lot of theories and why a lot of people think he is. I've seen that. I've seen people, you know, explain both sides of why he's a clone and why he's not a clone. And I don't know. I really don't know if I think he is or not. It's really tough for me to say. I want to say he's not because I like Shiro, but maybe he could be. Yeah.
Here's my big question to people who think he's a clone. How was he able to bond with the Black Lion again? Because regardless of if you're a clone or not, you have to have a personal connect. That's been established in season 1, is that you have a very close personal bond with your lion. I really think that if he was a clone, it would be a way bigger deal. Like, they would have focused on Keith splitting his time for way longer than one episode if Shiro was really a clone. Because it would have been this whole, well, we need Keith, and Shiro can't bond with the Black Lion, and Shiro would really be kind of like, well, what's going on with me? I really can't do anything. I think he is him, that whatever happened when he disappeared, Zarkon just really fucked him up. Because I really strongly think that, the Lions know when someone's an imposter, when someone's bullshit. At first it was like, oh shit, he can't pilot the Black Lion anymore. But he was able to bond with it again. And it recognized something within him, which is why I personally think he's not a clone. It's like, there's such deep bonds with the Lions at this point. We're 4 seasons in. I don't think it would just allow any fucking clone. And also, like I said earlier, I really think it would have been a bigger deal if they were really trying to go that route. Especially with, like, the shit going on with Lotor, the shit that happened with Keith, the shit going on with Zarkon being the fucking Darth Vader of the series now, because they literally put him in a robot suit. Like, we'll get to that in a little bit. The shit that happened with Matt, because I love Matt, but I'm kind of scared of where he's been this whole time, and I need to know more. But yeah, I never bought into him being a clone, but after this season, I am convinced, like, he can't be a clone, because the Black Lion would not have let him take control of it again if that were the case. But that's just me. I know people are still going to be convinced, and I don't know, whatever, but I don't think he's a clone.
Like, the only way I could actually see that working is if they're basing it off of the fact that the Black Lion reacted to Shiro's desperation for his team. Because before it activated, he had said people's lives are depending on this. I don't know.
It just ties back to me. It's like, it's such a big deal throughout the series that you have such a deep bond with your lion. And if your lion's not sensing that, something is wrong. I really think deep down that it's like not just the desperation, but it's like it knew deep down that this is Shiro. It needed to know, and now it knows. I don't know. I also think it would have been a bigger deal in this season if they were still really trying to drag us along. And also, people are saying, well, Josh Keaton on Twitter said that, oh, that's interesting with the whole clone thing in season 3. I'm all, yeah, Josh Keaton put out when season 3 first came out, it was an honor serving you guys, like Shiro died, and he didn't fucking die. Like, he's gonna troll fans because they don't know information. Like, we know that. I don't know.
It's also a thing about NDAs. Maybe he's not allowed to tell it yet.
Well, I mean, duh, because this whole series isn't done yet. So, can't say it, so.
I just feel like people need to really kind of sit down and understand what an NDA actually is.
Non-disclosure agreement. Those pesky NDAs, as VAs would say.
It's like when you ask a voice actor what's coming up in their projects and they can't tell you, that's why. They're not being addicted. They just legally can't tell you.
Those pesky NDAs, yeah. So, alright.
Don't try to guilt trip them is going to get information out.
Right.
Not.
Alright, so let's get on to the next big reveal. And that is our boy, Matt. So, I'm going to start with May on this one. So, I'm going to give a little background because May and I actually, I don't know about May. But this was the one thing I had spoiled, was the fact that Matt was in it. Because there was somebody on their Instagram story that said, man, I don't like Voltron, I haven't watched it in forever, but I'm glad Matt's in it. And I'm like, motherfucker, that is a spoiler. Which really kind of pissed me off because of the way that they frame everything. But, okay, May, so the whole thing with Matt, you had it kind of spoiled too. The whole deal with Matt, were you taking away the spoiler, were you expecting any of that shit with Matt to happen?
No, I thought it was gonna take longer to find him.
Right.
Although, I guess I kind of sort of expected, because I know, like, I guess in Korea or something, like, they had leaks of, like, season 4 trailer, and supposedly Matt was in it or something, but I didn't remember then. So, I guess part of me had an inkling that he was alive, but I completely forgot, and I was just like, oh, okay, but
these last two, sorry, go ahead.
Got revealed, and that was sad, because I wanted to know by the show, not by a spoiler, that he's actually alive.
So when we were watching it with Kat and the homies, it gets to the scene where Pidge runs out and gets to that area and sees that it's a memorial, and she's running down and it starts raining and she finds Matt's gravestone and she's bawling, which I gotta give a shout out to Bex for that fucking scream of no. That was really well done. Congrats to her. I even knew the spoiler, and I my heart still kind of hurt for Pidge. But I remember May and I were looking at one another and we're like, we already know. We already know.
See, I didn't know, but I had a feeling that that's where it was going, so I was crying.
All right, well, let's go to you, Mira, because you didn't have that spoiled. So you get to that moment. How did you feel about that whole thing?
I had a feeling it was probably at least going to be a grave that we were shown, just because of the way it kind of seemed like it was heading. And I wasn't going to be surprised if that's what happened. Yeah. I was just, my heart broke when it went that way at first.
Right.
But then when Pidge did the whole, but wait, his birthday is wrong, I was sitting there like, oh, okay, so we're not going that route anymore.
And then we get the awesome fight at the end of the bounty hunter chasing him and the brother and sister punch, and then Matt being super proud older brother, and I'm like, that makes me so happy.
I love their interactions with each other. It's precious.
So who was it, May? Who was it that was talking about, Matt had every right to be jealous, but the fact he's just super proud, supportive older brother was just so nice to see. Who
was either Kat or Jonah or Flo. I can't remember which one is who.
Right.
Said it.
But yeah, somebody had said, Matt had every right to be super jealous that Pidge is a part of Voltron and saving the world and all this, doing all this crazy shit, but he literally is just proud older brother, oh, you're part of Voltron? That's so cool.
Also, like, the backstory scenes that we got in the flashbacks, those were super precious.
Pidge with long hair is so precious.
I can't believe I never caught it before, but the fact that those were Matt's glasses and
Yeah.
she kept them.
Yeah.
It didn't click until then.
Which, can we talk about the super anime pose Matt does when he goes, "The garrison fixed my eyes." I'm like, what is this? Can we
also, someone pointed out to me, like, in those scenes that Shiro and Keith are actually in the background in one of those shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently I saw it on television. Oh, real quick, so Pidge has a dog named Bebe.
Oh, doggo!
Yeah, yeah, I guess somebody screenshot it. So while Matt and Pidge are talking in the background, you see Shiro, and supposedly that's Keith, and he's like showing him around or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, that's super cute.
That's awesome.
Like that's so nice. Like that's so nice. He's helping him.
The bond, the start of a true friendship. That's great.
Like, not even in a shippy way. That's adorable.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is. It really is.
Just it's a bond. You know?
Yeah. And then we get to episode 3, and can we just talk about the fact that Matt is a fucking weeb ass, and I love him so much. When he sees Allura for the first time, he goes full anime. Like, you are so beautiful.
I don't know what killed me in that scene the most, though. Matt doing that, or Lance glaring at him.
Lance's glare was the best. Lance's glare was so fucking incredible. Oh my god, so fucking great. And then him freaking out like, "Shiro, you're still alive?" Oh my god, like, he was so happy. And Matt is just generally such a sweetheart. I love Matt. He is so good. He is so good. I just want to give him a hug. It's like, oh, you've been through so much. You're just a nerd like us. How dare. Hugs.
I also love that little scene between Matt and Pidge and Hunk where, like, Pidge is showing the Galra tracking radar thing, and Matt made the comment of, like, I love that it's color-coded because what are we, animals?
Yeah.
Hunk is, yep, you two are related.
Yeah, that was good. And then around that...
A cute little parallel.
Right. And then that kind of tied into some of the shit going on the other side of the spectrum, and the first kind of inklings that shit's about to go down with the Galra, with Lotor being relieved of his position by his father, who is now in a fucking Darth Vader suit. I'm calling it a Darth Vader suit. He was brought back to life with fucking Altean magic and a robot suit. Let's be fucking real for a moment. And fucking Hagar is like not trusting of Lotor and possesses the one group that the one team member that Lotor had, and Lotor, what's up? Narty, that's right. And then he fucking kills Narty on the spot. Shit was going down. Okay, I got a question for you, Mira. Did you think that kind of at the beginning, before Lotor eventually kind of became this like lone wolf asshole, did you think that there was going to be this split in the Galra?
I kind of did, mainly just because, I don't know, this season he kind of felt like he was drawing parallels to Anakin in a way.
Kind of was, yeah.
Because, like, eventually he just kind of started losing his cool a little bit, and I was like, this is Anakin kind of near the end of, like, when he lost control of himself, to be honest.
I would say the joke we had in the later scene when he's in the ship and they're on the sun, we jokingly said, "Oh, that's where Anakin fought Obi-Wan," and I'm like, Lotor, I have the higher ground. It's over, Lotor. I have the high ground. That was so good. May, did you think that there was going to be some sort of like divide or civil war shit going on with the Galra at first, with Lotor kind of being relieved of his duty?
No, I thought all the wait, what? Sorry, what was the question? Let's think of something else. So Lotor's relieved of duty, and they're getting ready to leave, and there's like this
kind of split in powers now of like Zarkon and Lotor, did you think that there was going to be like now this big split and possible civil war among the Galra?
Oh no, I thought his dad was still gonna be on his deathbed and Lotor was just gonna take over.
Damn, yeah.
I just thought
Lotor
that because I mean that's
Zarkon.
Even in season 4, the trailer, it was playing off like that. It was saying like, my father's on his deathbed, I'm gonna rule.
I was surprised. I'm gonna go into some of the later stuff with the Galra. I was surprised at how much of a wanted criminal they painted Lotor out as, and I was like, that was unexpected for me, because I'm sitting there thinking Lotor's gonna try to pull a bunch of fucking strings. And I'm thinking, like, because at first I was thinking, okay, he's relieved of his duty. He smirked about that as he was leaving. Okay, this is all going according to fucking plan. And then shit just kind of gets wacky with Lotor. And then the rest of his team fucking, like, they want to turn him in because of what he did to, I'm blanking on her name again, the one that he killed. Narti. Like, him fucking killing Narti. Like, the one chick fucking tased the shit out of him. Like, don't tase me, bro. But he got fucking, like, incapacitated. She's all, this is for Narti. I'm like, oh, God. And then he kind of pulls some oh my God. I know that's later on, but when Lotor basically, like, breaks his arms, looked like, to fucking get out of his fucking prison shackles.
It was funny, like, so somebody on Tumblr made this long post. It's like, you know how Lotor is able to do that? They're saying that's probably not the first time he's done it, because he did it easily. He didn't have any problems. So he probably just randomly like practiced doing that, you know? Because we see Lotor as like this really smart guy. He's not stupid, you know? He's really calculating. He knows what he's doing. So I would assume, you know, that he was preparing for something like that ever happened. So he's probably done that many times. Like breaking his arm just to get out of
We'll get into.
He probably follows that principle of, if something gets in my way, I need to remove it because it's hindering my progress.
Hence why he killed Narti, because, you know, she was betraying him. He left the cat alive.
At least he left the cat alive.
Yeah,
but,
I honestly thought the cat was gonna be the track.
Yeah, we all did.
Cat, and then we're like, oh, okay.
No, that was going to be unforgivable if he killed the cat. It'd be like, fuck you. So, like, yeah, all that shit starting, and I know we kind of jumped around different episodes, because I know a lot of the later shit, like Lotor going to the sun, Lotor kind of, like, the shit not working with his plan, and his group kind of abandoning him, and trying to turn him in, and, like, him kind of basically fucking destroying his arms to get away, and all that shit. That kind of happens in, like, episode 5, and it's like, Lotor's kind of going down quick, and I'll get to that in a moment. But in between all that shit going on, we get one of the most batshit insane episodes. Episode 4, The Voltron Show. Mira, how would you explain The Voltron Show?
Okay, first off, since we didn't do a shout out to Kaltenegger in episode 3.
Oh, Kaltenegger was in 3. That's right. Yeah, that scene with Kaltenegger. Can I go back to that real quick? I love how Lance was playing a game and getting his ass kicked. I'm like, I've been there so many times, bro. And they're bugging him for milkshakes.
I just love the fact that they played up on the fact that he grew up on a farm.
Farmer Lance.
Don't worry, you're a beautiful girl and this is completely natural. Takes a drink of the milk.
Yeah! May, what'd you think of that scene? What'd you think of that scene with Lance?
Well, I saw it before and and I laughed at it. The second time was still funny.
It's great. It's a great fucking scene. Yeah, that was one of the clips they revealed. That was so good. Yeah, that was episode 3 because Hunk brought Matt a celebratory milkshake when he returned. And then later on they became...
I'm also loving the fact that they managed to hook up the video game console.
They fucking made it work! Yeah! They played some games!
There were like so many things that they was attached to, but I'm just glad that they finally got it to work.
That was so
Pidge
great.
And Lance were really upset that they couldn't play it.
They found a TV in that space mall. So,
they did.
Alright, so the Voltron Show. Going back to Mira, let's talk about the Voltron Show.
I think when I was trying to, like, describe it to you in a spoiler-free way of doing it. I basically equated it to like a Fooly Cooly episode.
It literally was a fucking Fooly Cooly episode. God damn. Oh my god, it really was. It was wacky out the wall. Shit got weird. They had to fight an actual alien in a stadium and lure it away with lights. Like, what? It was weird.
Bebo B.
Bebo B is the best. He is the best, dude. May, we all have to cosplay Bebo B.
I love how Lance is like, I love how Lance was like, I still don't know what Bebo B is saying.
That's so good. Okay, so, May, what did you think of the Voltron show episode?
That's actually my favorite episode through the entire season.
It's so good.
It was so funny.
What was your favorite part of the Voltron show?
When they did the poses and then the cardboard Voltron.
Yeah!
Yeah, and then when Karan was like, except you, Cher, I'm not getting rid of you because you're the most popular person. You're the most popular character.
That was when I went, this is a Fooly Cooly episode, because that was one of the most meta things I have seen in such a long fucking time. Okay, I'm with May. I think the Voltron show, out of the weird one-off episodes, is the best they have ever done. They are so... Okay, it's alarming how self-aware that episode was, because they basically played up everybody's tropes that they started following in. They straight up called out the fact that everyone loves Shiro, and they're all, I can replace all of you, except you, Shiro, you're the most popular one, we can never replace you. And I'm like, that is meta as shit. Oh my god. I literally think that they took a look at themselves and they're all, we're starting to fall into some stereotypes, let's fuck with this. And it was so well done. It was so good. It was so good. And it was so weird.
Hashtag everyone's Shiro.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so we talk about this on the podcast. We got gypped of Shiro in a tight shirt. So as soon...
Greg, May, I'm just gonna have both of you just, like, lamented how much... of this moment, because out of all three of us, the two of you probably took it the hardest.
So that was the... Okay. They can make Shiro be a prisoner. They can make him crash land on a planet. They can make him disappear. They can make him get fucked up by Zarkon. He can fight through. But to fucking not give us Shiro in a goddamn tight shirt where you can see that bar of man titty and abs up close and fucking personal... Fuck you, DreamWorks. You fucked up. That would have been some 10 out of 10 fucking Shiro man titty and abs. Like...
Bar man titty Greg 2017.
Yes, you fucking right. May, now it's your turn to lament your sorrows about the no Shiro in tight shirt.
I have a feeling they just did it on purpose to not show it because they knew a lot of the fans, especially people who like Shiro, would be like, oh, you didn't give this to us. We're really sad. Like, someone luckily, like on Twitter, someone drew it. She's like a really popular Shiro artist, and she draws a bunch of Shiro. But yeah, she drew it, and I was like, I messaged, or I commented on her photo saying, you know, you're a blessing for drawing this because the show teased it and didn't even deliver. So I'm really sad about this.
Man, you could have seen the man pecs, like...
I could have. You know what? I could have seen all that, but no. They can give Shiro long hair. They can make him a prisoner. You know, they can give him a nice outfit in what they're having, like season 4 right now, where he looks really nice. That's fine, but you can't put him in a tight shirt. Nope, that's too much. You can't do that.
Damn.
You can't
That's
scar
just
the
up to
kids.
PG-13.
It's because they didn't want to scar the kids. That's why they didn't do it.
They didn't want to make... They wanted to keep the gay away from the children.
Yep.
And yet here come the shippers.
Oh, man.
We will not be dismayed.
Okay, we talked about this on the podcast too. I wanted to tie back to Yuri on Ice for a moment. So when they said that they were doing Voltron on Ice, everyone in our room went, it's Yuri on Ice!
That's what I did too.
Everyone did. We're like, yeah. It was so funny. It was so fucking
Let's
good.
be real though. We'd all be like, Hunk, we can't skate on the
Yeah,
ice.
literally though. I
We'd take
do
one
agree.
step out on the ice and fall and slide.
Literally, absolutely. So then that ties into, so we're going into the episodes 5 and 6, and those are the big shit. So it's like, strangely enough, that weird Voltron show episode actually does kind of tie in, because then they kind of bring up it does, because they kind of bring up we now have this big coalition, and if we could just take over this one base, we will have like what was it? They would have, a third of Zarkon's empire?
I think
they would have a third of the Galra Empire.
They have a third of the Galra Empire, and that would be a huge thing. So then starts the 2-episode finale of this massive storm on this base, which was tense. And I also made a bunch of fucking jokes about Star Fox because of the fucking anthropomorphic characters.
Do a barrel roll.
Fucking the best part is, I think someone said, "You're becoming just like your dad." I was like, "Oh no!"
I said that.
That was you. Oh yeah, that was you. That was great. That was fucking great. No, rip, not Slippy Toad. Never forget. But he always dies in my Star Fox 64 games, so fuck him. Well, I've got some salt about Slippy Toad. Let me fucking tell you. But that's a different issue for a different day. But yeah, so they start storming all the shit. And then they find out, at the same time, we're cutting back and forth with that and then the whole Galra thing, that they're all, like, Zarkon is focused on, and this is said by Hagar, it's like, well, what are we going to do? We need to mobilize the troops. And Hagar is like, we need to get Zarkon to take care of this. And she's all, Zarkon is too focused on Lotor. And she takes shit into her own hands, and shit goes down. While Lotor, we talked about it earlier with him kind of, his plan failing about the alternate dimensions, and I was joking like, man, the only army he needs is an army of alternate dimension Lotors, and that's all he needs. But no, it's one of those things where so that shit's going down, Zarkon's going after him. He kind of is able to evade Zarkon, but then Hagar uses her ancient Altean technology to turn the fucking Death Star planet they were on into a bomb. What was that?
She becomes a witch with a bee.
Yeah, she does. Man, and it's like that shit got really tense. And okay, can we also talk about the fact that there was a lot of Star Wars references in this season? It felt like there was episode 4 with the "Please help me, you're my only hope." They fucking,
I know, right?
It wasn't Rogue Squadron, it was Rebel Squad. I'm like, that's a reference. And then that place looked, I know people said that they looked like the Death Star, but that looked like Starkiller Base because it was a whole planet that was a bomb. I was like, that's some Empire shit right there.
I'm sorry, this is not like the Death Star. It's bigger. It's exactly the same, but it's not like the Death Star.
It's exactly the same, but it's not the Death Star. But then we got a bunch of shit going on, and then there's things are in desperation, and then May freaked out because in the final episode, it's like, well, there's nothing more that we could do. That shield is impenetrable. You know, shit's going down. Keith's about to sacrifice himself. Oh, yeah. May was getting pissed.
My exact words was, "This show can go fuck itself."
She literally said, "This show can go fuck itself."
I said out loud, yeah, like everyone heard me because I was just so mad.
She's all freaking out.
As soon as Keith said what he did and turned to go back, I was just sitting there. I was laying on my bed, and when he said that, I sat up and went, "Don't you fucking do it, my boy."
I was like, are they really going to? Are they really fucking going to? Because, like, shit's going down. They find out the planet's going to be a fucking bomb. They find a way. Okay, before we get to the ending, we talked about this at Cat's Place. How cool was it that the one that inspired Allura wasn't Shiro? It was fucking Lance, of all people. That is some character growth if I've ever seen it.
That's actually kind of adorable, though, because, like, I mean, that was Lance's line first between the two of them.
Yeah. And it's like, that showed a lot.
It's just like him talking her through how to use the lion to help everyone. I was just like, aww.
That was really cool. That was really good. I don't know, May. What did you think about, like, Lance getting that moment?
That was nice.
It was.
I really like Lance. Lance is one of my favorite characters.
Lance has really grown on me. First season, I was like, second season, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Then by the time third season hit, I'm like, all right, I'm really starting to love that. After this season, I'm like, I love Lance. Lance is fantastic. He's great.
Like, granted, like, Shiro is still your favorite.
Shiro is my favorite.
My favorite. But Lance is great.
Lance is pretty great. So yeah, she's able to use her Altean fucking superpowers, as I like to call them, to at least escape the planet and get within communication zone to let everyone know within like a 10 planet radius or something like that this shit's going to blow and shit's gonna get fucked up. And they're trying to figure out what to do. It's like, well, there's this whole thing. I don't know what. So why was... Okay, remind me again, because there's one thing I don't remember. Why was Keith trying to crash himself into the ship? Like, because was that part of the connection to Hagar?
No. Well, yeah, because he was trying to crash the ship because the shield, like, none of the ships could get through, and they needed to get through the shield so they could blow up the ship. So...
Right, yeah.
And also, like, a lot of people are saying, like, especially on Tumblr, you know, the Blade of Marmora's, what's the motto is, like, you know,
knowledge or death.
Yeah, that. And, you know, so Keith kind of sees it as, like, oh, this is my mission, I gotta do this. So that's why he was, you know, so
no, okay, remind me real quick. That was the ship, was that the ship Hagar was on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
To, like, blow up the planet.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's why he was going to sacrifice himself.
Okay, yeah, because he was sacrificing. He was going to crash himself into the ship to try to break down the shield so that they can at least attack. But then, out of nowhere, a fucking explosion happened. Keith rears back. And then the infamous... I mean, there's lines leading up to it, and it's the... I think it's time we have a discussion. Cut to black. Like, fucking Lotor shows up, blows up the ship, and is like, you know, we've had our differences, but I think it's time that we have a discussion. I think there's more in there, but that's the basic. The TLDR was, we've had our differences, but it's about time that we have a discussion. Cut to black. So, number one, because it was kind of set up, what did we think of that? We'll start with May this time.
I was baffled.
You were like bamboozled.
I didn't expect him to, you know, say that. I thought he was like, no, I think it's setting up to where next season he's just doing it to get on their good side to take over his father's throne, and then he's gonna, like, you know, go back to being a baddie again. I think he's trying to do, you know, keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Yeah.
You know, philosophy. So
right. I didn't know if I wanted to get too into it yet, but yeah, we'll get into the theories too.
Yes. So
that's your theory. Mira, what did you think about that moment, and what are your theories about what's coming in the future?
Well, once I kind of got over the fact that, in a way, Lotor saved Keith, which is something I'm kind of grateful for because I was crying.
Right.
Once I got past that, alarm bells went off and I screamed. I was just like, fucking no. Really? Seriously? This is our ending? Why? Cry.
And what do you think is going to be some possible theory, your theory of what could possibly happen in season 5, or even in the future, or like past season 5? Like, what do you think Lotor? What do you think Lotor's up to?
I'm kind of with May at this point. He's going to use the crew to kind of get his goal accomplished, and then once he sees no need for it, he's either going to try and take out one of them or take all of them out, and then go after his dad. Maybe this is the way Keith gets killed off, because everyone in the fandom is speculating Keith is gonna die instead of Shiro.
Man, I don't... Before I get to my thoughts, I totally forgot to say this. When we were watching the Blade of Marmora do their fucking stealth shit, I made a comment of, I would play like a Metal Gear Solid-esque stealth game with the Blade of Marmora. That would be fucking legit. Because... Can we have Final Fantasy 15 DLC with Marmora outfits? That would look legit. Oh man.
Square, please get on this.
Square across Dreamworks. Nay, imagine Prompto in that hoodie. Ooh. Hey, they look nice. Good stuff. 10 out of 10.
I mean, they collaborated with Assassin's Creed. Surely they can collaborate with Voltron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surely.
And say they already worked with Josh Keaton in 15, so they got it in.
Exactly.
They got it in, bro. Yeah. So my mind was fucking blown because I was like, I didn't think he was really gonna do it, and he fucking did it. And I'm like, oh shit. And he kind of said, we need to have a discussion. I think things might have gone a little off course, but I think this is all a part of his plan. I think that, yeah, shit might have gotten a little weird, but he's relying on himself, and he's going to try to be like, yeah, we're cool. I think he's going to try to kill Voltron and use Voltron to kill his father and be a symbol of power. That is what I think he's going to do. But he's also going to be fucking bamboozled when he can't use any of the fucking lions. Unless he has some fucking magic manipulative mumbo jumbo bullshit that can manipulate the lions. Who fucking knows at this point? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at this point. I feel like Charlie in the one episode of Always Sunny when he's got the fucking conspiracy theory on the board. That's how I feel at this point, thinking about what the fuck is up with Lotor. But I don't know. Whatever he's planning, I think this is all part of his plan, and Lotor should not be trusted. So.
But that's just our theory.
Yeah, I would say.
I say I really trust Lotor. I mean, he's one of my favorite villains, but I think
but he's still a villain.
Shady.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still like super shady.
Yeah. So. I'm going to say this before we get into our final thoughts. If you have any theories about what happened with Lotor or what's going on with Lotor, or theories about anything else, maybe you want to comment on the Shiro being a clone thing that we talked about earlier, to fucking please leave them in the comments down below. We'd love to hear what you guys think. So going on, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for everybody. So final thoughts. Voltron Season 4. We'll start with Mira. Final thoughts now that we've kind of gone through this journey together.
Just want more Keith, whether it's Blade of Marmora Keith or just Keith. Just bring Keith, please.
Just bring Keith. May, final thoughts.
I want more Keith. I do like this season, though, because Josh Keaton got more lines unlike last season.
Yeah.
That was, like, one thing I mentioned before, is that, I was really sad Shiro wasn't in, last season, because obviously he had disappeared season 2.
It was nice to have Shiro as the leader. I mean, I don't want to bash on Keith, because Keith tried. But it was nice to have that, like, space dad fatherly stuff there again. It was really nice to see that.
It was very nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
Even then it helps because Keith never wanted to be the leader. He always wanted Shiro to be the leader.
Yeah,
so he got what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what he says in the show. He's like, I never wanted to be Shiro or leader. That's what Shiro wanted,
Yeah.
That was always his argument.
Yeah.
And also, can we have more Holt sibling co-piloting?
Yeah, we need more of that. That was cool. That was really cool. My final thoughts. Something that I'm surprised didn't come up. I hope with Keith being part of Blade of Marmora, I know they only had 6 episodes this season, but hopefully with Keith being part of Blade of Marmora, I would love to see more Blade of Marmora episodes. I would love to see Keith and the squad doing cool shit and maybe running some intel for the crew back at the Castle Lions. And I would love to see more of that. I love to see more of the rest of the Blade of Marmora because they all seem like badass dudes, and I've kind of always generally loved. I just say, even in season 2, I was like, these guys seem badass. I want to see more of them, but now they have an excuse because Keith is part of Blade of Marmora. I would love to see more of them. I'm glad to see Shiro back in the leader seat, and yeah, I think season 4 was some really good shit. I'm glad that there was a lot of payoff for some shit that happened. And fucking here's to season 5. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this Spoilercast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want more Spoilercasts, let us know down below. We might consider more Spoilercasts. I know for a fact I might get this crew together once I finally beat Persona 5 and talk Persona 5 spoilers with a bunch of people. I am not 100% on that yet because I still got like at least 10 to 20 hours left in the game. But when I eventually beat it, I'm down to talk some spoilers about Persona 5. So, till then, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you want more, you have any thoughts about this season of Voltron, past seasons of Voltron, or what you're excited for season 5, leave that in the comments down below and let us know if you want to see more of this in the future. So until then, we will talk to you all later. See you later.